Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel DIY with KCEEPAT, and today we'll be doing a tutorial on how to cut a high cut together collar kind of blouse. So if that's what you would love to see, stay glued to the channel. And this is not like a basic block pattern block, but you can work with your pattern basic block. But one thing I'm going to state is, like, as you see me do, you just have to move up about 1.5 or 2 inches above your pattern paper, because that is the height you will be going for your high neck cut together blouse. So you can see, instead of doing your normal neckline measurements or 3 inches below and 3 inches across, all you have to do is 3 inches across and 3 inches 2 inches above. 3 inches across, that's your neck measurement across, and 2 inches above. For some persons, if you don't want the neck so high, you can use 1.5, but I used 2 inches and this works perfectly fine. So after you must have done that, then slant your shoulder measurement. Don't worry, when I noticed that the lines were too faint with my pencil, so I had to outline all of these lines with my marker, so you will get to understand what I am doing. So like I said, move up 2 inches and move across 3 inches, which is the normal movement that you make on your neckline. So by the time you're done doing that, I would have to state before I move forward that some of these videos I had to recorrect certain things when I saw that my camera was not getting certain angles. This is the first time I'm actually doing a lengthy video like this, and I didn't get to notice that some of my angles were off. But I would take my time to explain all of this so that you get to understand everything I'm doing. At this point, if you're not a beginner, you already know what I am doing, because I am trying to label all of these lines so you don't get confused. The measurement I am using here is my waist measurement, my underbust measurement, my bust, and my hip line. And for the full length of the blouse, I'm working with 25 inches. Now I have labeled all of these lines so you don't get confused, and I am working with I'm working with a princess dart, and that is what you see me trying to mark. I'm trying to mark out my dart point, and I used 1 inch on the other side and 2 inches on the other side. You can use 1.5 on both sides depending on how popped up you want your posture to be. Whichever way you want to do it is clearly your choice. But I used 1 inch on one side and 2 inches on that, which will still give you the same 3 inches. And that is how I love to add my dart allowance. So I would also move to my armhole line and just mark out the center of the armhole line and attach the 1/2 inch on each side of the center, and mark out my dart line to join to the bust point, as you see me doing. Now after you're done doing that, all you have to do is go ahead to connect all of these lines together. And after I finished with that, I had to also start to marking my circumferential measurements. The bust that I was working with was 34. I divided that 34. Please watch what I'm doing. On that armhole line, I extended the dart line so it will not be shorter at that point, and you would watch what I will do when I'm cutting it so that you will not have it shorter than the actual measurement. My bust point, I worked with 34 and I divided by 4, and it gave me my measurement, and I added 2 inches sewing allowance. Did the same thing on the waist and on the underbust, and on my hip I added 3 to 4 inches, because this is an hourglass kind of blouse, so you want that hip part to kind of protrude. You will not want it to be so fitted at that point, so it will give you this kind of shape. you can see that after shaping it, this is what it's going to give. So move up 2 inches or 3 inches above, depending on how curved you want your blouse to be. Then shape it out this way, just like I did it. So by the time, like I stated, my camera didn't capture the upper part of, which is even the main part of this, but you can see how I'm cutting this particular dress. So that I actually gave a movement of 2 inches above, as where our collar is going to, like we are going to shape out that collar from. And you have seen how I cut out that part for my that line. So make sure that you cut it out this way, so that you would not have like short edge when you are trying to join this particular side of your that. So fast forward, I'm going to be showing you, I'm cutting this out, and I'm going to be showing you directly how I cut out that high neck collar for us to have that high neck effect. I hope at this point you're not confused and you're clearly following what I am doing. So this is the part where I have to cut it directly on the fabric, and by the time I'm done cutting this part, I will have to explain to you or even show you how I went about shaping the neck part of our collar or of our blouse. So by the time you're done cutting, just do what I'm doing, which I'm trying to explain. Even my camera was still shifting at this point, but I'm going to try to explain better. So just slant from that tip, the very tip where you had that extended shoulder, that is your 3 inches across, slant it down. Do you understand? So just look at what I'm doing. Slant it down to the point, your point down, and then you shape out. I used as low as I think 8 inches. Yes, I went as low as 8 inches at this point. So I shaped this part. So it will give you the opening. This part will give you the opening. Sorry for the noise in my background. This part will give you the opening on your neckline. So by the time you open this, you're going to have a slanted edge on your collar, as well as an opening for your keyhole kind of dress. So this is the back part, and I'll just be explaining this back part real quick because it's very, very simple. Just cut your basic back part like you would usually do. That's the zipper part that I have already outlined. Then make sure that even as you're cutting this your back part, that you're giving your 2 inches above space. Like as you're seeing now, the camera didn't it was still later that I noticed that the camera was not capturing that area. Whatever happened there, I do not know. But like I said, I'll still be explaining to you so that you understand what I was doing at this point. So I moved up 2 inches above, and which is the 2 inches that we're going to use as our high neck, and I labeled my bust, my waist, and my hip line. As you're seeing, just make sure that you move up, like look at what I'm doing. Make sure you move up by your normal 2 inches above, and then also slant your shoulder at this point like you see me do. Then you mark your armhole line and divide by 2, and then curve that armhole line as you're seeing me doing. Then afterwards, as you see, I'm just putting my measurements and I'm adding my sewing allowance. Same thing I did to the waist and same thing I did to the hip. And at this point, I just included I added the back part of this dress, and also added my that measurement as well as my sewing allowance. I did the same to the hip part. Like I said, I don't know why this camera was not giving me like the full, it was not capturing the full thing that I was doing. But I hope at this point you're still able to understand what I'm doing. I have also curved this part of the back, and I started cutting out the back part of this dress. So If you've gotten to this point and you've understood what I'm doing, please do well to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel so as to encourage me to keep putting out videos there. So this is what your neck piece should look like. Just move up 2 inches or 1.5 depending on how high you want your neck to be, and slant it to your zipper points. So by the time you do it, instead of this is just a way of saying, instead of going down to 2 inches or 3 inches for your back, you move up 2 or 1.5 inches. That's just the only difference. Then the point that I'm marking is where you're going to sew. You see what I'm doing? I marked to that point. I marked to the point, that tip. That's where you will stop. Don't go and sew it to that the other part. Just stop at that very tip. Now you're seeing that this part, I cut the lining shorter than the zip part. Put in your dart, sew in your dart, and at the end of the day, this is what you should have for your back piece. Now if you watch, I didn't start sewing from the very tip. If you want to start from the tip to put your zip, that's fine, but I didn't start from the tip. I just started from like halfway so that the zip would not get to like the tip of my blouse. So this is the front part, and you're seeing the tip I'm marking. That is where you will start sewing. Don't start sewing from this other edge, because that's the part that you join as the shoulder. So when you're done sewing, all you have to do is to bring the front and the back part to the 2 tips, like I had showed you where to stop. Then join the shoulder parts together as you see me doing, and join the sides as well. So by the time you're done, this is the effect you should be having. You're already having a high neck kind of effect as you're seeing in this video. All you have to do next is to cut the sleeve. I'm still explaining that you just have to join the other part, but the next thing to do is to cut the sleeve. And you know that this sleeve is like a gathered kind of sleeve, so you have to make it wider than your usual sleeve measurement. So I would show you how I went about that, which I did here. I just cut a sleeve wider than the normal sleeve measurements, like my sleeve measurement. So I'll gather the edge, like the tip of that part, and I'll also use lining to add to the sleeve. And then this is the effect that you'll be having at the end of the day. See how our blouse is standing fine. Okay, bye, see you in my next video.